Bethlehem, the Grotto of the Nativity. The exact place where Jesus was born is memorialized in the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, in a small cave beneath the church. The spot is marked with a 14-point silver star that reads, Hic de Virgin Maria Jesus Christus natus est, or, Here Jesus Christ was born to the Virgin Mary. This spot in Bethlehem is one of the most visited places in the Holy Land. The Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem was spared destruction when the Persians in 666 AD recognized themselves in the paintings of the Magi on the church's wall. Here at the monastery, we place the Christ child in the manger during the Christmas midnight Mass, just like the Franciscans do in Bethlehem. The child remains in the manger until January 6th, which is the Feast of the Epiphany, and the end of the Christmas season. The Annunciation Grotto. The angel Gabriel spoke to Mary, telling her that she was with child, and that child is the Son of God. That spot of the Annunciation is a grotto in Nazareth. The Latin on the stone in the grotto reads, Here the Word was made flesh. In Nazareth, a modern basilica was consecrated in 1969. It is visited by pilgrims from all over the world, and it is also the parish for 7,000 Catholics. For many centuries, there was a mistaken belief that hidden treasure was found in the primitive church. It was believed that a hidden treasure was inside the pillar. The pillar stood broken. Complementing the replica grotto here at the monastery, a broken pillar stands free of support next to the spot of the Annunciation. Saint Sebastian. Saint Sebastian was a soldier of the Roman Empire and was named captain of the Praetorian Guard of the Emperor. It was discovered that Sebastian was a Christian, and his execution was ordered. Left for dead after being shot with numerous arrows, he was found in a field and nursed back to health. Once recovered, Sebastian denounced the emperor for his cruelty toward Christians. Once again, Sebastian was ordered to be executed. This time, he was bludgeoned with clubs until he was confirmed dead. Although he did not die from the arrows, his sculpture features arrows and the Roman shield. Saint Sebastian is the patron saint of athletes and of soldiers because of his physical endurance and for spreading the faith. Saint Cecilia. Cecilia was born into a wealthy family in Rome in the 2nd century. After she was discovered to be a Christian, she was placed in a steam bath for 3 days, but she survived. Then she was ordered to be beheaded. After 3 attempts, she was left to die. Cecilia lay on her right side with her hands crossed in prayer. With her face to the floor, she remained praying in that position for 3 days. As she neared her death, in a final, silent profession of faith, Cecilia extended 3 fingers on her right hand and 1 on her left, signifying the Holy Trinity. As she was dying, people heard heavenly music, and thus she is the patron of musicians. Later, when her tomb was opened, her body was found incorrupt, never having decomposed. The sculpture at the monastery is a copy of the statue that is in the Church of Santa Cecilia in Rome. Cecilia is recognized during the canon of the Mass. Her feast day is November 22nd. The Purgatory Chapel. Souls who die in God's grace must still be purified to enter heaven, and thus they enter purgatory. Purgatory simply means this: if my death does not represent a total giving of myself to God's love in full faith, hope, and charity, if there is any sinfulness in me, no matter how slight, it must be removed before I come face to face with God. God must purify me, not only from gross sin in life, but from all defilement. In the Purgatory Chapel, we remember our dearly departed, as we do in the Catacombs in Rome. Murals in black Belgian tiles were placed on the walls here in 1931. The small mosaic to the right of the entrance shows Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. A polychrome wooden bas-relief panel from France, depicting the Virgin Mary and angels ministering to souls in purgatory, is seen beneath the altar. The large mosaic to the right, "Ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord," depicts a scene from Ezekiel 37, 1-14. This vision is a representation of the revival of the nation of Israel, which had fallen into the worship of false gods. The graves depicted symbolize the diaspora, or the Israelites inhabiting foreign lands. It can also be seen as a depiction of the resurrection of the body. The other large mosaic, to the left, depicts Jesus' body being prepared for burial. The other figures represent St. John, Mary, St. Mary Magdalene, and another Mary of the Gospels. The two mosaics on the walls flanking the exit from the chapel to the martyrs' crypts read "From Death" and "To Life." They depict physical death and spiritual rebirth. In the Purgatory Chapel, we remember our dearly departed, especially on All Souls' Day, November 2nd. The Catacombs. The Catacombs of St. Callistus were built in the late 2nd century in Rome. The catacombs span an estimated 900 miles and go at least 5 layers deep. Thousands of Christians, including 16 popes and 50 martyrs, are believed to be buried in them. Here at the monastery, a replica of the Catacombs of Rome is located directly beneath the sanctuary. The catacombs extend in a passageway from the Nazareth grotto. Saint Benignus. Saint Benignus, a Roman soldier who was born in France, was killed because of his faith. He was originally buried in the catacombs, but his bones were donated to the Franciscan monastery. The bones can be seen above his sculpture on his altar. All relics are present except for his head, which is in a church in Italy. The inscription above the altar reads, "Here lie the bones of Saint Benignus, martyr." Saint Innocent. Saint Innocent, a boy martyr, was killed at the age of either 6 or 7 during the 2nd century persecutions in Rome. He was found in the same place as his parents in the catacombs, leading historians to believe his parents were also killed for their faith. This is the body of Saint Innocent. His torso is covered with clothing, and his skull is protected by a wax mask and a wig. But his hands and feet are visible through gold mesh. The container at his feet indicates he was a martyr and would have held his blood. In the artwork above, Saint Innocent is depicted holding the container, which also has a palm branch. Saint Innocent is a history lesson of the Romans' brutality, even to children, perhaps even when their parents were watching. Christians will often pray to Saint Innocent, asking for protection of their children and for unborn babies. Saint Thekla. Although she agreed to be married, Saint Thekla took a vow of chastity, thwarting the wishes of her parents, who had promised her in marriage. Because she was a Christian, Thekla was ordered to be thrown to wild beasts in the Roman amphitheater. Here we see a mural where, miraculously, the animals refused to attack her, and Thekla requested a pardon. She was granted that pardon, and she later became a disciple of St. Paul, and she became known for other miracles. Saint Venantius. Under Roman law, Christians were executed until the year 313 AD, when the Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity. Like Saint Thekla 2 centuries before him, Saint Venantius was a teenager who was persecuted for his faith and was miraculously spared after being sentenced to be mauled in the amphitheater by animals. Unfortunately, unlike his 1st century predecessor, Saint Venantius was not granted a pardon and was killed by a Roman soldier,